All right, board members, want to call our work session for February 12th, 2026 to order. Appreciate everyone's attendance as we start preparing for our regular board meeting here in just an hour or so. We're going to go over our consent agenda items for tonight's meeting. If there's anything else we need to bring up if time allows, we can do that. But the information was provided to you in your packet. Before we get into that, just want to bring you up to date on a couple of things that were added to the agenda that we'll have to get approved before we convene with our regular meeting. We omitted the TLN report. So Mr. Smith will give you opportunity at the end of our review of consent items. We'll give you an opportunity to speak to that. And then also we had two new business items for tonight that were added. We have a fundraiser for Woodland Park fundraiser request, and then also approval for a JROTC travel request coming up in May. So those are submitted after we published our agenda for tonight. So that just give you a heads up on that, what's to come. So we'll go through and start with our items in your packet from last week. We had, last month. First item is our school board meeting minutes from our January 8th meeting. Any questions, clarifications, corrections that need to be made to those minutes? Okay, if not, we'll go to next is our work session minutes from January 8th. Just would like to draw your attention to tonight on in our agenda. It's second reading of policy 1901 and 2804. Were there any questions over those policies that where we might need to bring that up in move that out of consent into our new business? Or excuse me, that would be old business. Okay, if not, then we'll move on. Mr. Alley, I just wanted to see this. You gave us a presentation last month on CMTA to come in and start their studies. Do you have any update for us on that? I know it. Okay. Okay. We'll circle back to that when we do maintenance report, okay? So regarding the minutes from our work session January 8th, any corrections, clarifications, or questions on those? Okay, then touch base on the policy report. Then next item that we would be considering on our consent agenda would be maintenance report. Mr. Alley, if you give you a chance to update us on maintenance. Thank you, Mr. Alley. Board members, any question for Mr. Alley regarding maintenance items?
I was down at Doyle yesterday, and everything looks good down there. The building's really coming together. What's the timeline on getting the brick fixed down there, and when do you think they're going to take ownership of the rooms?
No, I mean, it's they've been saying spring break all along is finishing up. That's going to be challenging now with that issue of the wall, so I think it's going to be a little after that. And then I don't expect the track to be till later in the spring. From what I understand, the contractor can't get to that, so they may go ahead and sow grass and get out of the way, and then later at a later date they'll come in and put in the track.
And maybe the poles on the awning that they're having to do some changing on.
Yeah, we got word on that just a couple hours ago that they're going to remove those on those poles in front of that door. Is that what you're speaking
Yes, that's
of?
it, yes.
In front of the storage door. That's adequate. It's more than adequate support for that awning. So they're going to be able to remove those right in front of that, so that won't be an issue.
Yeah, I've had several folks message and wanting to know what the awning's going to look like. I'm like, listen, obviously these are professionals. They know what they're doing. Hopefully it will be appealing to the eye, and just people were thought that it was way overkill, but it is what it is.
Mr. Alley, two questions. That sewer clean out at the high school, does that have anything to do with the restrooms at the tennis courts? Great. And just one more question. I'm going to go back to the presentation you gave last meeting. So recalling that we're going to look and see with CMTA what kind of what their contract looks like, and Mr. Markham, have they provided that yet? So we're still waiting for that. So while it is waiting on us, it's waiting on us because we haven't seen the contract and basically gone through a review process with both yourself and Mr. Markham. Okay, so
So do we as a board need to contact them or,
no,
yeah?
Yeah, I think, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think our understanding was that the board wanted to look a little more. We felt like maybe Mr. Alley and I had kind of narrowed that down, and at the time it was our understanding the board wanted to have a little more input and investigate that a little bit more, so we kind of pressed pause on that. But we weren't sure if the board wanted to actually see presentations from various companies, or if they were satisfied that we'd investigated that. So we've kind of just pumped the brakes on that at this point, waiting for the board's guidance. So we're open to anything along that spectrum of moving straight ahead or having them come in and do presentations, whatever the board would desire. So.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought they was going to come and do a presentation. Did we not? We talked about that, right? Did we not decide that? I may have dreamed it, so forgive me, please.
No, I think that, now we're trying to recall. Should it, that's correct. You were not present. What I recall from your presentation, Mr. Alley, is that we did ask you to review options because you did a presentation in August, and we said review options, and you made a recommendation to us as a board that CMTA would be your preferred option for the services. So what I recall is us saying is we want to see a contract from them to review the contract to make sure that we were not obligating ourselves. We needed to understand what obligation, if we chose them, how we would be obligated to them, because there is a bidding process. And if we ask them to do work, then, or if it runs through them, we have to make sure that we properly bid out the work. And so we just need to make sure that that's all correct. But if we need to add this to new business as a board and debate it and have deliberation on it and then make a decision, then we'll add that to new business.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, so we'll have one more item to new business, if you can make that on the fly. That clarity for everybody on that? Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Allen. We'll add that. We'll try to get that moving along. Don't want you to wait on us. You did your homework, so thank you.
Excuse me, where's the money coming for these bathrooms at the tennis court? Are they coming out of the budget we've already got, or we got to add that to pay for them, or?
Because there's kind of a partnership there with tennis courts and the high school, so we thank the county for that. Okay.
Say on that note, I'm working with Mr. Markham, but we're going to have to work on on that process, if it's going to be a reimbursement process or if that money will come, if we'll just pull those POs straight from that fund. But either way, it would be a wash, and that money's coming from the county government.
All right, thank you. Anything else on maintenance? All right, then we'll move on to our budget report. Ms. Officer.
All right, and again, thank you, Mr. Markham, for helping with this. So through the end of January, we have a combined estimated fund balance of $19,349,012, and this compares to the beginning fund balance of $20,455,164. Within the general purpose school fund revenues through January, there's been a slight decrease of 0.33% from the same period of last year. This is attributed to several factors, one of which is a reduction in property tax revenue distributed to the schools. This reduction was offset by the increase of the budgeted local option sales tax revenue. Expenditures and encumbrances did show an increase of 7.35% from January 25. These expenditure increase continue to be driven largely by salaries and wages from regular instruction, which rose over this prior year because of the one-time teacher bonuses, as well as necessary transportation capital outlays for equipment and buses. Local option sales tax collections for this time period is showing a little bit of growth over prior year's receipt. And the current property tax collections for this fund is representing about 57% of the budgeted amount. School federal projects Expenditures in this fund are currently outpacing revenue, which is typical for this fund operates on a reimbursement basis where funds are requested after obligations are met. The Central Cafeteria Fund, revenues show a decrease over this prior year, driven largely by the timing difference of the receipt of December reimbursement claim period. Didn't get that until January. Expenditures are also in line with our budgetary expectations. And overall, the school system's financial position continues to remain stable through these first 7 months of the fiscal year. Revenues are generally tracking as expected, and expenditure activity remains consistent with historical trends and departmental budget allocation for this period.
All right, thank you, Ms. Officer, and echo that. Thank you, Mr. Markham, for providing that data. Board members, any questions, comments regarding the budget report? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to our budget amendments and transfers. We provided information on items that need to be need our approval from a budget standpoint. So, Mr. Stromberg, I'll let you speak to that.
All right, thank you very much. We have 5 budget amendments in your packet for this evening. All those are federal budget amendments, and I think we'll have Ms. Felton here with me this evening. So if Ms. Stepp, if you'll jump in, please. But basically, the first 2 budget amendments are simply just additional funds that we were allocated from Tennessee Department of Education in those funds. One was a little over $400. The other one was a whopping $39.75. So those were just added or credited to those lines from additional funds that we received from the federal government through the TDOE. And then the remaining budget transfers are excess funds that were transferred into areas where they're more needed as we get in close to March and towards the end of the year. It's the time we'll start shuffling funds from areas we know that we don't need it to where we do. And of course, you want to spend those funds because if you don't, you won't get them the next year. So that's what you see. There's an amount of $2,256. It's been shuffled there. The largest one is the next to last in Subfund 901. It's the amount of $31,000. We're shuffling mainly out of benefits into equipment, materials, and supplies, and some travel. And then the last is an amount of $6,251. Again, from unneeded software budgeting to instructional supplies and materials. And that's all the budget amendments this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Stromberger. So just a little bit of new money coming in from the state. Everything else is just discretionary repurposing funds that have already been budgeted. So any questions, comments regarding the budget amendments?
Mr. Chair, I do have one. I'm assuming all of these go to county commission to be approved or budget committee? Okay. Has that already happened and they're waiting on us to approve it, or how does that work? Okay. All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, comments regarding our budget amendments? All right, then we'll move on into next item, personnel report. You can see that starting off January 2026 with applicants and hires. It does seem that we've added a few to our few hires in the month of January. And you can also see the following document is our personnel changes for January's with new hires, terminations, and transfers. Any questions, comments regarding our personnel?
The transfer from a bus driver to the maintenance shop, is that just an addition to an employee, or did you have one that stepped aside and just replacing one?
We had a bus driver that moved into that position and is working out really, really well. He's got a lot of skills and talents, and feel like Randy said the other day that we feel like we're already saving money because we haven't had to call specialists to come in and fix things that he has the ability to do. So
Good deal.
We're fortunate also that Mr. Alley and I had a meeting this week. We were fortunate we were able to replace him as a bus driver. And we're, unlike many systems, we're fully staffed in that regard, knock on wood. And we have people that we're lining up for next year's. We anticipate we'll have some attrition over the summer. But we've been very fortunate in that regard to have full staff in our classrooms and on the bus routes.
Question. I don't think actually I've ever asked this, but so if you go back to the hires, we had 6. Does that include the custodian, the bus drivers, everybody? Okay, thank you.
All right, good questions. Anything else regarding our personnel report? All right, then we'll move on next to our threat assessments for January. You can see that there were 3 threat assessments that were reported, one of which has been closed, 2 of which are open and are being monitored. Any questions, comments, explanations on that?
I'd like to say those come in, this went into your packet probably a week ago, and so it's very possible those have been closed out. I can check with our behavioral specialist, but we don't have anything right now. I mean, those, if they're open, they're still being monitored. It's nothing where it's a threat to the school, so to speak, in large regard. It just means that we're looking into it, we're aware of a situation, but it's likely that those have been closed because they've been in there over a week at this point.
Those, one was findings was not credible, and the other 2 that are open was potentially credible. So still doing some investigation on that, but trust those our staff is doing what's needed in those areas. Any questions, comments on our threat assessment report? Okay, if not, then we'll go to the next item on, that would be our TLN reports. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. TSBA monitors several of the bills that could have impact on the school system, and I looked at the ones they're monitoring. There's 88 pages of them, so I hope you're comfortable because I'm going to start with page 1. I'm not. There are 2 that I'll mention and encourage Mr. Drombarger to comment if he has anything to share. One is Senate Bill 178, companion House Bill 22, that requires the governing body subject to the open meetings laws to reserve a time of public comment on any matter germane to the jurisdiction of the governing body, not just what's on the agenda. This action was deferred in the state Senate and local government committee to the 24th of this month. I will note that this same bill failed in the Senate last spring, but that would change some of the way we would conduct our meetings. The second one is about TWSAA, and not to read the whole bill, but allowing a one-time transfer between schools for significant academic, social, emotional, environmental, or mental health reasons, not just for athletics or disciplinary reasons, without having to sit out a year. I've had some back and forth with Mr. Drombarger about this potential bill and just the implications it may have to the high school sports, especially, probably even into middle school as well. And finally, I'll be attending a legislative affairs seminar next week to probably learn more about the 88 pages that the TSBA is monitoring. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Drombarger, you want to speak to any of those?
I think Mr. Smith, summarized those adequately at this point. A lot of things change over the course of the legislative session. There are many, many committees and many different times that these bills will have the opportunity to move forward or be killed, so to speak. And so we'll be monitoring those. I'm actually on the TOS Legislative Committee. I have a meeting tomorrow online. We meet weekly to go over the main bills that are affecting education. These will be some of the ones that we discuss. The TWSA transfer, I had an update on that just this week. It is actually, right now, the amendment is to have it, it can be for really any reason. It's set forth any reason, but it can only happen in the summertime. So it has to be before the school year starts, which is going to be problematic because everybody starts different times, so they're going to have to put some dates on that. But it would be no questions asked, one time during the summer, but it can't be once school starts. So, but it doesn't trump your district's rule that if you don't take out-of-county residents. So you don't have to take somebody just because they want to transfer over the summer. So it doesn't force you to take someone, but it does open the ability for them to do so should you choose. So lots more updates. As I said, I'll be on a call tomorrow and work with TOS as and they also work hand in hand with TSBA, and we follow those accordingly. And it'll be a busy session for sure.
Thank you.
Just one more thing. If you're interested in the other 2 through 88 pages, I'm happy to stay after.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Ms.
Um,
Douglas.
Is the TSSAA, is there a portal that they will keep up with those transfers with, you feel like, or something that'll not fall back on an athletic director or a school in particular?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll come with that process. There'll have to be, that's a good question. There'll have to be some sort of accounting to make sure that that doesn't happen multiple times. But they do already have to register with, the kind of clearinghouse, and so they're in that portal of some sorts, but there'll have to be a mechanism to show when they transferred and to whom.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Smith and Mr. Young, do you think we still have any eligibility left that we can
The answer to
transfer
that question
to?
is negative. They wouldn't want it even if we did. I just do find it interesting, legislative bill to allow somebody speak on anything on the anything that applies to the governing body. In our case, we do that for items on our agenda, but however, that does take away some of the ability for constituents to reach out to us as representatives and us as representatives to come and put that on the board and do it in a very formal way. And that is an option, so they can speak to something on the, if they want, they could reach out to their representative and request it be considered for agenda, and then it could be, those items could be addressed now. So it's not that things can't be addressed, it's just the mechanism, the way in which you go about getting those addressed. So that's one of several options that are available. All right, anything else for Mr. Smith on the TLN report? Okay, so that covers concludes what we will be considering for our consent agenda. Board members, this is just really for information purposes. I'm going to have to go back and do just a little bit of digging. And maybe, Mr. Drumbar, you can speak to this because you read the book. There was a book, we reached out and contacted just to make us aware. There is a book that is well written regarding our kids and devices and about attention, and I think you sent that out in one of your reports, and I apologize, because it's just popped into my head right now, the name of the book.
So The Anxious Generation.
Anxious Generation, correct, thank you. And we, as a board, may want to take a look at that individually, and if that's something we think we need to circle back on, have a little more discussion, certainly open to that. So just wanted to do that, and appreciate Mr. Drumbarger for reading that and providing us some Cliff Note versions of that.
Mr. Chairman, I've just resent that to all of you, that same email, so you can pull that up easily. It'll be at the top of your inbox.
Yeah, so I'd encourage everyone to just take a look at that, and if it's something you think that we need to pick up in a meeting or a work session for discussion, we can certainly open to doing that. Just let me know. All right, anything else for our work session?
Mr. Chairman, do you want to address the new business items that are on the agenda for tonight? And then also, I have a note that I'd like to speak to policy, if we could go back to that, please.
Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, we can certainly go over that while we're here. We've got time, so that would be, let's see, 11. So yes, we've got fundraising request submitted from Woodland Park, and it's a school-wide a school store, and basically when it's parents provide a QR code if they go shop at certain businesses, then they get they can earn a percentage of contribution from that business goes to the school, and it gives the school, the teachers, opportunity to get items for classroom and for the monies that was spent. So that's the purpose for their requesting that fundraiser for supplies for classrooms, extra monies for general funds, and things they do for special classrooms. Probably like helping fund that wonderful Winter Wonderland that they did for Christmas. So, which was very well done. So that is the fundraising request that's been turned in. The next one is the JROTC going to summer camp, and that's in Greenville, Kentucky in May. So that would be an overnight trip, chaperoned, and doing various activities that for the ROTC. Water survival, rafting, obstacle course, and rappelling. Still don't think we would qualify for that, Mr. Smith, Mr. McDonald. And then finally, the facilities audit that we'll discuss in new business about moving forward with what we want to do with that. So, anything else on that covers on new business? Okay, so Mr. John Berger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we could jump up and point your attention back to policy, just to make sure the board's clear that these are second readings and what you're voting on this evening. Policy 1901 was dealing with charter schools. I'm proposing that we vote on that as written, as it comes from the TSBA. But policy 2804 deals with reimbursements for tax. And after talking with the finance director, that's optional that we do that. So we're our finance director, Mr. Markham, and I are recommending that we do not employ that optional statement at the end that's in yellow, so that wouldn't be provided. We feel that the differences that we've made, the changes that we've made with stipends and providing funds for our employees should cover those things. And then in emergency cases, those will be a case by case situation we could work out. But we don't want to get in the practice of our employees looking for reimbursements on those tax. We just feel like we have mechanisms in place right now that allow for stipends, allow for overages on their travel and things like that, and cover those things, and that purchases should be done in the correct fashion where POs are pulled ahead of time and go through the right channels. So it'd be our recommendation that the board not adopt this policy, but without the optional sales tax language in yellow.
Okay. Question, Mr. Smith?
You said in special circumstances, an exception.
Really misspoken. I mean, there shouldn't be any special circumstances where they're overdone. I mean, that just needs to be, I'm just thinking what outside the box. If somebody comes and says, hey, I bought this and they paid sales tax, I mean, we'd probably say that was against policy, because that's what the policy says. So I really misspoke there. That's what we're trying to eliminate here, is those case-by-case situations and make that concrete. So thank you.
Okay.
This need to be pulled out and put into new business for us to discuss, since we are going to eliminate that one optional line item in there, or would the board need to make a motion in the consent agenda to approve it without that?
So in my opinion, this is the way it was presented to you last month, and there was discussion then going to be had about that sales tax option. And so Mr. Markham and I have had that conversation. So I think the motion would be tonight to approve, in my opinion, if the board so choose to approve this without this language, to say that we're approving that without the optional language concerning sales tax.
Okay.
And then that's the way it would be submitted to the TSBA.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that, Mr. Young, that you would, when making the consent agenda motion, that
let's do this, just, I think, just to make sure that we're deliberating properly. When we get to consent agenda, if this needs to be motioned out and put into, old business.
Perfect.
Okay. All board members know understand where we're going with that. We're gonna motion it out, and if it's motioned out, then it would go into new business based on that. My question is, on that policy, did anything else change in that?
No, I don't think so. That was just the optional portion that they added in that. So
Okay,
if no
that's
action
what-
was
that's
taken, excuse me, I think that you would be able just to leave your current policy in place without that language.
Okay, so now we know where we're going with that. Okay, thank you. All right, so thank you for circling us back to that. Any other items for our work session? Okay, if not, we'll adjourn and reconvene at 5 o'clock for our regular meeting. Thank you. 6 o'clock. So this is a 2-minute warning. Board meeting will start in 2 minutes. All right, I'd like to call the February 12th meeting of the White County Board of Education to order. If you would, please rise. We're going to ask our student representative, Ms. Callie Odell, to lead us in pledge. Thank you, Ms. Odell, and thanks for everyone that's here tonight. Appreciate your attendance, those from our community, for our BOE staff and teachers, and those that are here to be recognized tonight. We appreciate your attendance and your interest in the activities of the White County Board of Education. Just want to thank everybody for your part in educating our students in this county. We have a lot to be thankful for in just a great county, and hope that as the educational arm of the county that we're doing our part, and that's reflected in some of the results that we're seeing in our scores and things that showing that White County is excelling in the area of education. So tonight we're going to get ready to consider our agenda. Before we do, I'd just like to say that the Tennessee Statute and Board Policy 1400 state that every meeting of the board shall be open to the public except where law allows for a closed session. The agenda for the board meetings are posted on the district's website at www.whitecoastschools.net. The agendas are posted at least 3 days prior to each meeting. The Public Acts of 2023, Chapter number 300 and Board Policy 1404 state that each board meeting shall include an agenda item reserved for public comment, as well as the conditions under which those wishing to comment will be recognized. A sign-up sheet is made available prior to the beginning of each regular meeting for those wishing to speak. Individuals who have signed up prior to the start of our regular meeting and who wish to speak during the portion of the agenda will be recognized in the order listed on the sign-up sheet at the time designated for public comment. The board meetings are streamed with the help of our central office technology staff for live or recorded viewing. Links are provided on the district website. Attending and or speaking during tonight's meeting implies consent for the comments and appearances to be used. So before we consider tonight's agenda, does anyone on the board have a conflict of interest on any agenda item that we're considering tonight?
Mr. Chairman, as I do each and every month, no conflict of interest for me tonight, but just for public record, my wife is an educator in this system, and the views that you hear from me tonight will be truly mine and mine alone, and in the betterment for the students and staff and for this school district.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have a conflict, but my spouse, my husband, is also employed by the district, so the decisions are mine and mine alone.
Thank you, Ms. Officer.
Mr. Chair, much like my esteemed colleagues, my wife is an employee of the high school. Nothing on the agenda presents a conflict for me, but my thoughts and my opinions are mine and mine alone.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. So, Ms. Sims, ask that you note in the minutes that Mr. McDonald, Ms. Officer, and Mr. Smith all recognize that they have staff working for the district, but nothing on the agenda that we're considering tonight would pose a conflict for them. So the next item would be the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Board members, you've had the opportunity to review the agenda for the meeting tonight, and you have been made aware of changes to the agenda. Under the consent agenda, during our work session, we did have a TLN report. That's Tennessee Legislative News Report by Mr. Smith. In the agenda, the new business items, we have a Woodland Park fundraiser request, a JROTC travel request, and then we have coming from the work session, discussion on our facilities audit. So board members, that's the agenda that is being proposed tonight. I would entertain a motion for approval of this agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Douglas. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we come to our consent agenda. Consent agenda items were discussed during our work session at 5 o'clock. Board members, we have reviewed those, and if there's any item in the consent agenda that you wish to pull out for deliberation, we will add that to either our new business item or old business item where appropriate. So this time, are there any items in the consent agenda that we should need to pull out?
Mr. Chair, under item B, policy number 2, policy 2804, we need to pull that out to have some deliberation and discussion on a statement that's in that policy and move it to old business, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDonald. So, Ms. Sims, if you would make note in the minutes that consideration of policy 2804 will be pulled from consent agenda and be added to an old business item. That would be the first old business item in our minutes. So, board members, with that, the consent agenda then would consist of the approval of the board meeting minutes and work session minutes from January 8th, 2026 meeting. Policy approval of policy 1901, which is second reading of policy regarding charter school applications. It would include the approval of our maintenance report, our budget report, budget amendments and transfers with only a small amount, $500, around $500 of new money coming into the district, but everything else is recommended for transfers for better purposes of the funds. We had a personnel report, threat assessment report, and the Tennessee Legislative News report. So with that, consent agenda items, if there are no objections to that, then the consent agenda items will be approved by unanimous vote. Any objections?
Nope.
No objections. Consent agenda will be approved. Next, we'd like to welcome Principal Rebecca Ryan from Findlay. The theme for this year is recognizing artists of the year, and each school will be recognizing students within the school that have exemplified excellence in art. And so, Ms. Ryan, we appreciate you and Mr. Hicks being here tonight, and look forward to your recommendations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to ask my students that are here to come up and sit on the front row here if they don't care, and that way you can see their beautiful faces while we talk about all their wonderful accomplishments. So one of our students couldn't be here with us tonight. The first student that I will mention is Joshua Soapzak. He is one of our CDC students in Miss Megan Wallace's class. He actually has the flu, so he couldn't be here tonight. But Miss Megan had nominated him and said that he has a great eye for detail that shows his artwork. He enjoys creating illustrations based off of reading activities. In addition, he's a very respectful student who is kind to his teachers and fellow classmates. So I just want to mention that Mr. Joshua couldn't be here with us tonight, and again, he's a 5th grader in our CDC classroom. So, but we do have 5 of our students here with us tonight that we wanted to recognize, and so I asked the teachers to nominate students, and it was kind of interesting because we got kind of a wide variety of artistic abilities. The first student that was nominated and we're going to recognize is Miss Serenity Blum. And I asked Serenity to bring some of her drawings because every time I see Serenity at school in parent pickup, she's always drawing. I have quite a few of her pieces of art in my office that she shares, and it's just something that she really enjoys doing. And so I asked her to bring those. So when you come up, Serenity, you might want to show them a couple of your drawings that you brought. But Serenity's a 5th grader, and multiple teachers actually nominated Serenity for this artist award. One of her teachers said Serenity is extremely talented. She can create detailed sketches of anything. Her artwork is full of emotion and has a way of making the viewer feel the emotions with her drawings. Serenity is also a great student who works hard in all of her classes. So I want to recognize Miss Serenity Blum. And Miss Serenity, if you'll come up, Mr. Hicks will give you your plaque, and then you can show the school board some of your artwork if you'd like to, maybe your favorite one there. So let's give a round of applause for Miss Serenity. You can turn around right here and stand so everybody can see you if you want to. And go right over there. How about go right over here and stand? Yeah. Like I said, we kind of had a wide variety of artists to be recognized. We have a couple of students who are involved in performance arts. Well, actually, all 4 of these are involved in performance arts. And so we have a couple of students who are involved in competitive dance. So I'm going to start with Miss Emma Cloyd. Miss Emma is a 5th grader. Emma, you can come on up if you want. Emma's a 5th grader, and Emma was selected for her participation in competitive dance. She trains at Miss Carey's Dance Academy here in Sparta. She's a member of the competitive dance team. She's danced for 4 years and competed for 3. I believe that she does ballet and then competes in jazz and lyrical dance. She also plays basketball and softball, so she's obviously very, very busy, and doing all of that maintains her spot on the honor roll at Findlay. So we're super proud of Emma Cloyd, a 5th grader at Findlay. Our next student also is a competitive dancer, and that's Miss Carly Robbins. Carly is also a 5th grader, and again, she was selected because of her participation in competitive dance. She's danced since the age of 2, and for the past 8 years has trained in ballet, tap, hip-hop, and jazz, hip-hop, jazz, and lyrical. She's competed for 4 years in jazz and tap. She attends classes 5 to 6 days a week, so she's very committed to dance. It takes up a lot of her evenings and a lot of her weekend time, but she still is a member of our honor roll at Findlay, so we're super proud of Miss Carly Robbins. Our next 2 students are also in the performing arts. The first one is Miss Josie Porter. Josie's also a 5th grader, and she's been involved with the Cookeville Children's Theater for 3 years. She attends acting and performing arts classes and camps. She made her debut this past fall in The Wizard of Oz and will be in Oklahoma this summer with the Cookeville Theater Company. And again, like the students before, super proud. She does all of that. She's also a cheerleader at Findlay and is on the honor roll. So super proud of Miss Josie Porter. And last but definitely not least is Mr. Chance Poulin. And we told him he was going to have to sing. No? Okay. Chance is a 4th grader, and he has been involved with the Cumberland County Playhouse. He's appeared in Finding Nemo Jr., The Wizard of Oz, Michael Ruff Concert, This Is the Moment, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He is currently starring young Simba as young Simba in The Lion King at Cumberland County Playhouse. He attends weekly dance and acting classes at Cumberland County Playhouse, and once again is on the honor roll. So super proud of Chance Poulin. Thank you.
And opening night's tomorrow night.
Opening night's tomorrow night, that's right. So we're super proud of all of these students, and again, just wanted to spotlight those that maybe do something a little unique and spend a lot of their evenings and weekends devoting time to that, but still excellent students for us. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan, Mr. Hicks. We're gonna take a recess, and parents, please come up, take pictures of your child and all the children, and we'll take a recess and then reconvene here in just a minute. Take in front of our new backdrop, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith. So parents and kids, we really appreciate you taking time coming out and being part of our meeting tonight. Best of luck for all the performers. Feel free to stay throughout the duration of the meeting, but if you feel need to leave, you're welcome to be excused at this time. We do appreciate you coming. All right, at this time, I'll call our meeting back to order. And next item on our agenda is our student representative report. Ms. Callie Odell, 11th grade student representative. So, Ms. Odell.
You. We cannot believe that it is already February. I'm very shocked at how quickly our school year has gone by. Graduation is coming up and it's getting very real for the seniors. There's definitely a mix of excitement and emotion as they begin finalizing their plans for what comes next. These next few months are very special for them as they wrap up their high school experience and prepare for a new chapter. We are very proud to recognize our valedictorian, Addie Koch. Her hard work and dedication truly represents the academic excellence of the class of 2026. Our Beta Club has been collecting shoes, as you guys know, to donate to children in third world countries. And it's been very encouraging to see students step up and participate in something that reaches beyond our own community. Projects like this remind us that even small acts of service make a huge difference. Beta Club is also currently planning a special needs Easter egg hunt, which will take place on March 28th for kids ages 2 through all the way to adults, so whatever age. Students are working diligently to make it welcoming, inclusive, and fun for everybody involved. It's one of those events that really reflects the heart of our school and the way students care about serving others. The Ayers College Foundation will be taking juniors on a series of college visits starting next week. They'll be visiting ETSU, Belmont and Vanderbilt, UT Knoxville, and Tennessee Tech. These trips are a great opportunity for juniors like me to step onto campuses and get a feel for different schools before they begin applying to colleges in the fall. Being able to explore campuses in person helps make those future decisions feel more real and more achievable. After our recent winter snowstorm, classes are back on track and things are running smoothly again. Students and teachers adjusted pretty quickly and we're focused on finishing our semester strong. Spring sports are starting to kick off and there's a lot of excitement as teams begin practicing and getting ready for their games and competition. Prom has officially been announced for April 25th and the theme is Starlit Sea. Decorations are being created by Miss Amaril's art students and Miss Swift's students, and students are really looking forward to it, and it's exciting to see different groups in the school working together to make the night special. Overall, February has been a month of preparation for graduation, college decisions, service events, and the busy spring season ahead. There's a strong sense of momentum on campus as we head toward the final months of the school year. If you guys have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Odell. Any questions for Ms. Odell regarding our student representative report? So, did I understand you correctly that prom is going to be a collective effort? For,
Yes.
For all the school, or just juniors and seniors, or just the junior class?
Well, it's for juniors and seniors, but obviously freshmen and sophomores will be able to come if they have a date. But who is making the decorations is Miss Swift's class, so that's juniors and seniors, and then Miss Amaril's, which is all grades.
Okay, great. So, fantastic. Fantastic. A lot going on at our high school, and those. Mr. Wilson did speak with him, and he was talking about the college trips and going to visit the different colleges, campuses. Is that are those trips highly attended?
I'm not sure yet, but our first one is, I think, next Thursday to ETSU, so we'll see once we start.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
do
sir.
want to say something along the lines, not directly to Ms. Odell, but I know board members, you all received the same email that I did, that Warrior Media did a special announcement for the school board today, and just want to say how proud I am of that program, and thank them for recognizing what this board does and what we as a collective group put together to help make these schools run like they do. And wouldn't be possible if we didn't have the leadership that we have from top to bottom. So just thank those kids for doing that.
I would echo that. That was very, very kind for them and their expression of appreciation for the board. And I was, yes, very impressed the way they were able to take a subject matter and make that subject look good. Mr. McDonald. So encourage everyone to go search that on YouTube. That was what? That was done on, yeah. Search Warrior Media February 11th and see that frame, and I think you will concur. You will concur their ability to take a subject and make it look really good. So anyway, plug for that. So thank you, Ms. Sodell. Any other questions for student representative? Okay, next we'll move on to the next item, and that's a district update by Mr. Stromberger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Personnel reports in your packets this evening. As we approach budget season, we're anticipating a fair number of retirements this year. Next month, we will be attending a job fair at Tennessee Tech where we'll be recruiting the next wave of talented teachers for our school district. At your seats tonight, you have a copy of the flyer listed with lots of accolades and a flyer that we're going to share with our prospective teachers. Thanks to Miss Emily Barnes who helped us put that together, and thanks to our teachers. They provided, if you look at that, I asked for them to reach out and share why they thought it was great to be a teacher in White County, and they responded with lots of great quotes. We can only fit a few on there, but we have ways we're going to share that with others as well, and proud to know that they feel it's a great place to work. Enrollment-wise, our student enrollment numbers are holding steady at this time. Our current total enrollment is a little over 3,600 students if you include pre-K and our early graduates. This weekend, we'll bring another long weekend for White County Schools. President's Day is Monday. Schools will be closed. Quick reminder to all gentlemen listening that don't forget Valentine's Day is Saturday. Financially, you heard in the financial report tonight that the school district is in good financial standing, but additionally, I would like to announce that this week our district received a high-performing bonus allocation from the state of Tennessee in the amount of $607,142.86. This is exciting not just from a financial standpoint, but for what it says about our students and our staff. This money is awarded to districts that have over 50% of their schools that have received a letter grade of an A on the state report card, and White County Schools is one of only 22 out of 147 districts in the state that receive this distinction. So very proud of that number, not so much even the money, but just what it says about the hard work that's going on in our schools. So thanks to everybody in this room and throughout the district that made that happen. Athletically, middle school basketball teams have hit tournament season, and the tournament for high school programs will soon be here. Spring sports are underway, and the first pitches of baseball will happen just around the corner. I think maybe next week. So it's usually snowing on those first pitches, but hopefully not. Building projects, we're working closely with our insurance company and architects and engineers to address the brick issues at the White County High School Career Academy. The Doyle projects is coming along nicely. The windows are in. Finishing touches are taking place in the classroom spaces. Storage units and furnishings will be the final touches, and the project is still expected to be completed near or around spring break. The plan is to install a paved walking trail in the playground area, but that timeline looks like it'll be later in the spring. Academically, parent-teacher conferences were this evening at White County High School. The middle school parent-teacher conferences were on February 10th, and conferences for pre-K through 5 students will be February 19th. Progress reports for all White County students are scheduled for February 5th. And finally, thanks to Ms. Officer for reminding me, February is CTE, Career and Technical Education Month. CTE students are equipped with foundational and technical skills necessary to excel in post-secondary education, the military, and the workforce. White County has one of the highest participation rates in the state when it comes to students participating in CTE courses. In a recent report, an incredible 82% of our high school students took at least one CTE course in their program of study. So we're very proud of that as well. So great things happening in the school district, and this completes my report, but I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Stromberger. Any questions, board members, regarding our district report?
Just one comment about the great work that's happening here, and the beauty of being rewarded monetarily for that. That doesn't happen every day. So congratulations to everyone that makes that happen.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I would echo Mr. Smith. Thank you for everyone in the district that's working towards providing high-quality education. And this is big news, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. $600,000, that's about 10%, 5% of our budget. That goes a long ways and covers a lot of gaps. And so it just shows that diligence and hard work does pay off, and starts with the example our staff and our teachers, administrators are putting in, and then bringing the students along. So that's tremendous. So thank you very much. And as just to echo, we do plan to take this news to the county commission and the mayor and board of aldermen at the city. They need to know this, because you can't have good economic development in a community if you have poor education, and that's fact. And people that are looking to move into areas, you need to have that, and we do. So thank you very, very much. Appreciate you including that in the report. Any other questions for Mr. Drombarger? Okay, then that moves us down in our agenda to next item is public comment. Per policy 1404, we reserve an agenda item for public comment for any item that's on our agenda tonight. The sign-up sheet was provided before the meeting. There is no one listed on the meeting that wishes to speak, so we'll move us down to our next item, and that's new business. New business, we have 3 items that we need to address. One is Woodland Park fundraiser. It's been requested there that they have the opportunity to raise funds for extra supplies for classrooms and money for the general funds to do special things for classrooms, and they have partnered with some stores that when parents shop at particular stores, the school's going to receive a percentage. And so I think there's some technology regarding a QR code that allows them to do that. And so it will not be it will be at parents' discretion how they participate in that, but they are hoping to raise funds for that, for those supplies. So that fundraising request form was turned in, and it was properly signed for. Did you approve that? Did you approve the?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did approve that, and it wasn't approved in that packet, and as well as the travel request has been signed and approved. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it's come recommended for approval. So at this time, I would entertain a motion for approval of the Woodland Park School Store fundraiser.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McDonald. To have a second? Second by Ms. Officer. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is field trip request from the JROTC to attend a summer camp in Greenville, Kentucky. That would be from overnight from May 27th, returning May 31st. It will be have instructors and chaperones from 10 different schools that will be part of this event. It has been properly signed for approval and recommendation for approval by the teacher sponsor, the principal, and our director. So this time I'd entertain a motion for approval of the JRT travel request.
Moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Smith. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McDonald. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item in new business is discussion on a facilities audit. Just to do a brief refresher, in August of last year, start of our new year, Mr. Alley came and made a presentation to us about having a company that specializes in doing audits and then make recommendations for facilities improvements throughout the district, and they can also help with sourcing the contracting and working through the part of getting those various projects implemented. And so at that time, we asked them to go back, Mr. Alley to go back and Mr. Drumbar to go back and do some more research and come back to us with a recommendation for for how they would like to proceed, but just ask them to get some comparison from other companies that might offer a similar service. They came back, and it was in January, Mr. Alley came back and did a presentation to us and basically shared with us the same information about the company and how they would recommend that we move forward with consider moving forward with CMTA to come in and do a facilities audit and make recommendations for us to regarding areas in mechanical, electrical, and plumbing for the buildings in our district. And so that was recommended to us, and per the discussion, we wanted to circle back and make sure that we understood what the contract, what a contract would look like with them, because we do have things as far as bidding processes for projects that we undertake. So we will need to review that. However, before I think Mr. Alley goes back to them and asks for a copy of that contract for us to review, I think he would like for us as a board to ensure that we're okay with that. So tonight, the discussion and possible decision on having CMTA do a facility audit for the buildings in our district, that's what this item is about. So pause here and give you the chance to make discussion, have a little ask some questions, or make a motion. We can have discussion. So
Mr. Chair, I guess my question would be here, for us to get into a formal discussion about this, we need to have a motion on the floor to consider this. Is that correct?
I think the motion would be per Mr. Alley's request if we wanted to consider CMTA. I think if we need to have general discussion about what this consists of, I don't think we necessarily need a motion for that.
Okay.
Just understanding facility audit is where professionals, engineers would come in. They would do a walkthrough of our facilities, look and see what infrastructure we have in place, make recommendations and bring attention maybe some ways that we could save money by doing in doing a project that might upgrade as far as efficiency, say for example on whether it's HVAC or the way we heat and cool our facilities. They would make recommendations, and then those recommendations then would of course be presented back to us, the board, to determine where we want to go. Just as a reminder, the reason why they're looking for projects right now is because over the past few years we've been able to, with the extra funds we've been able to receive through various federal programs, we've been able to catch up and get current with all of our capital projects, 5-year capital plans. So they're starting to look for the next capital projects, but we're in good shape, and so they want to be maybe a little bit more strategic in how they address that.
All right, so I was very impressed with Mr. Alley's presentation in January from CMTA. So I would like to put it in a motion to consider using them or reviewing a contract per Mr. Alley's recommendation of that group to us last month as a board, and we can get the discussion started as far as what process we want to go from there.
All right, thank you, Mr. McDonald. So I have a motion that we approve Mr. Alley reaching out to CMTA to ask them for a contract for a review. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Mr. Drumbarger?
Yes, I just want to clarify with Mr. Markham. I mean, do we need to have an RFP process? I mean, we need to at least allow others to submit that similar type of documentation as for the board to consider. Because I think in this process, I don't make sure we're doing it the right process here. Instead of just choosing somebody, I think we have to give everybody the opportunity to at least submit something. Is that correct, or? Because we've looked at those, and I mean, we've done, I say we, Mr. Alley and I have looked at those proposals, but for the board to sign a contract with somebody, it would require them to have that formal process. Okay, I just want to make sure the board had the opportunity to see that, and that we go through the right process, and not that you wouldn't choose who you wanted after that point, but I just want to make sure that we followed that process.
Okay, and I appreciate that because we want to go the right steps, but my impression was with this group is that they would be very similar to professional services, like we would do with the architect firm. That doesn't have to go out for bid. If we choose professional services, does that have to go out for RFP? Okay, well, so, Mr. McDonald, you'll have to withdraw your motion.
Motion withdrawn.
So what I would entertain would be a motion to proceed with a request for proposal from.
So here's my question. When we had this presented to us in August, he had several different avenues that he could go, if I'm not mistaken, when he presented to us on the board. Has he not already satisfied that RFP?
To my knowledge, there's not been a formal process.
Okay.
Formal process, advertising, I'm sure he's gone to everybody that might even present some proposals, but we don't have that documented in the law.
All right, so I tell you what, I'll make a motion that we start the RFP process for facilities audit per Mr. Alley's request.
Okay, I have a motion for approval of facilities audit for the district per the request of our maintenance director. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Discussion.
So if we go through this process, are we obligating ourselves to anything other than receiving RFPs?
No, Mr. Smith, this would just be RFPs, and that would go through, we would receive those RFPs would come to us, the board, we'd be provided, and then at that point in time, we could review those and then take any action based on what we receive.
So given this
At our discretion.
would be my first time through this process, does someone care to share how that works?
Mr. Markham, if you want to speak to that, or I'll try to stumble through it.
The RFP process is really just a formal process. Think of it like a bid, but without pricing. All that we'll do is we draw up kind of a sample of the services that we want provided here. We send that out to people that provide those services. We publish that on the website, put it in the newspaper, and then have a deadline for people to send those responses back to us. We'll tell them that it has to be, no more than, 5 pages, 10 pages, something like that, so you don't get big books from different people. And they submit that to us. Then from that process, you guys would be able to make a decision on who you want to move forward with into contract negotiations. Then at that point is when you would move into contract negotiations.
So there's no pricing involved on the initial submission of information?
Not in the RFP process, no. For these types of services.
Got it.
You can have pricing involved in an RFP process, but for the engineering and architectural services that this would be providing, you wouldn't.
If I may, Mr. Morgan, this is unique as well, this service, because what they're providing is that they're going to save you money. They're willing to do the engineering and the upfront close examination to do this work for free in the event, in the hopes that you're going to use them on the other side then to do that work, and that's where they're going to make their money. And board members, if I may, Mr. Chairman, while I have the microphone, I want to apologize for the confusion around this. We brought this forth, I think, back at the beginning of the school year, and I was even a little surprised when Mr. Alley came forth to say that he had determined that we were going to go with CMTA, because I was taken aback by that too, because I knew that's not exactly how that process works. And when we last left this conversation, it was my understanding that the board wanted to see more of a presentation, but I hadn't really had the guidance on that. And so anyway, I take responsibility for that. We haven't provided you good direction on that. But regardless, at this point, I think we need to make sure that we do it the correct way. And if the board does want to move forward with this audit in some form or fashion, then I would suggest that we follow Mr. Markham's direction, go do the RFP process, get the proposals, give you an opportunity to look at them at length, and then we can make an educated decision.
Can we have this back by our next meeting? Is there enough time between now and our next meeting?
Yeah, I think so. Based on, because really in this type of process, you're just going to kind of get their generic canned information, that they would hand out to you. So yeah, that's not a problem. It's really just to see who's interested in providing these services, and then you guys can choose from that.
I have a question. So the services that we're talking about is an audit. So we're asking these other people to come in, look to see what we need, and then we'll make that decision. So what we're discussing now is just for those people to come in to give us the information to ask what we need. See what I'm saying? I'm a little confused about that.
That's true. That's the first part of it. But where they're wanting to then go after that is say, we think that, their recommendations may be A, B, and C, and they're going to say, okay, we'll help you get A, B, and C, and then whatever energy that you save off of that, that's how we get, that's how it's funded, and we get paid from that. So that's why they do the audit up front for free in hopes that they'll be able to provide those services on the back end.
Yes, but we're asking other people to do the audit also?
No. We're choosing someone to come in and do, or
Right, one person.
that's interested in doing an audit.
One person who's coming in to do the audit.
Correct. Well,
And again, I apologize for the confusion. We're asking if you're interested in doing the audit, send us your proposal. What will your company provide? What would you do? What
Okay.
would your audit look like? And so it looks different on the back end of, like, sometimes they have a guarantee of no change orders, or they might, that's something that's unique to that company, or they have something unique of, we guarantee you 60% return on HVAC systems. Or we sell directly, Trane has a system, so Trane will say, we'll give you a huge discount on our units because you're working directly with Trane. So it's all similar auditing firms. They all offer different benefits and packages. So that's what we're asking for. What does your audit package look like?
So similar to what he's already done, but in a more formalized,
Exactly.
official way of doing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And from that information, the board would narrow it down and say, we want to go with this particular group. And that's where we would get into contractual discussions and finances.
I've got a question. How do you make that kind of decision without having any numbers? I mean, if this group comes in and we want to pick this one group, then they provide the numbers. All the groups don't issue any kind of numbers to go by?
I was going to say, well, you're not financially obligated at that point, and then you can choose what you want to do. They don't come in and say you got to do $16 million worth of things. You can say, I just want to do, you know, the HVAC systems, or I want to do these portions, and then you settle on the contract of what they're going to do, and then what they'll say, this is how much is it going to cost. They'll estimate how much the return is, how much you're going to save, and then what their fee would be out of that. So you would have all that up front before you would sign to say that we're going to move forward on that process. So, like I said, what we're examining now is just a proposal of what your audit firm can offer. Once we narrow that down, then they will say, okay, this is how much it would cost to do project A, B, and C, and the board could decide from there what they want to participate in.
And we can, board members, we can table this till next month if you need more information. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I think as a board, one of the things that just I want to be aware of, and encourage Saul to be aware of, is that where we're at now regarding capital projects, Mr. Alley, or maintenance director, is looking for those next projects, and he wants to be prudent with what we would go and spend money on. And at this point, from his perspective, is that we've covered all the low-hanging fruit, so we get into a scenario where we need the next project may require a professional's viewpoint on looking at our facilities and where we may get biggest bang for our buck. So I think the RFP, Mr. Markham, we put that out, probably should have some mention of service fees that might be might apply, or some fee schedule that they may use on an audit. Would that be reasonable?
Well, they wouldn't charge for the audit, so there's not going to be a charge for doing the audit. Their idea, because you could go through this process and they give you the information, you say, okay, thank you, see you later. You know, but they're going to try to sell you on making those improvements, you know, and that's how.
So it would be an audit at no charge. Basically, we'll give you the opportunity to come in and review, look at our facilities, and then basically do an audit from their perspective, and then make recommendations, and then we as a board, we understand from a professional services side, what they see, that because what we're trying to do is just support our maintenance director. Say, give you guidance, what next? And he's asking for some guidance, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help him get that guidance that he's requested.
I don't think we need to push this off any longer. I think we need to go ahead and move forward with this, get the RFP done, and we don't have to go with anybody that comes and presents anything. I think we just need to get the process started. I think we've waited since August to do this, and I think we need to just go ahead and push along.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. McDonald, you made a motion for that, and
I did. Mr. Smith
Mr.
second.
Smith had a second. So
And I'm
we
gonna
had a
call
motion
the
and a second. So we do have a motion on the table, and we're having discussion right now. Any other discussion? And let's just make sure we're clear. We're going to ask Mr. Markham to proceed with an RFP for facility audits.
Absolutely.
Okay. So any other questions, discussions? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Markham. Thank you, board members, for working through that and moving on with this. All right. So that covers all the items in our new business. So we'll move into old business. Old business, we pulled out from our consent agenda for deliberation policy 2804. Policy 2804 is recommended by TSBA that we consider having reimbursement for sales tax. We had the option to put language in there that would allow for in the event someone was out and they made a purchase and did not have the proper documentation for sales tax exemption, that we would have the option to reimburse them for that sales tax expense. So we approved this on first reading after in our discussion in the work session, Mr. Drombarger stated that their preference, along with Mr. Markham, preference would be that we do not include this option because they would like to keep purchases in normal order of purchase order, submitting the proper documentation where sales tax is not charged on expenditures, but also the fact that we do pay a per diem for those that might be traveling where inadvertently they would get charged sales tax, say for a meal or some expenditure they may have and not have the proper sales tax exemption documents on them. So the per diem should cover that, and we think that the risk and impact on anybody that's traveling on behalf of the district would be low. So it's been recommended that we do not change this policy. So looking at the policy that has that option in there, no other language in our policy as it sits currently is that this is the optional language is the only thing that would be added to our policy that's currently in place. All the language on the expense and reimbursement for central office, school personnel, and board members all remains the same, but it was putting in language for reimbursement for sales tax that we had the option. So if we don't have a motion to pass this on second reading, then the amendment to the policy would fail, and the policy that we have in place now would remain in effect. So that is how, depending on what we want to do, how we want to act on the recommendation, that's how we would deal with this policy that was passed on first reading. So I'll pause there, see if anybody has any questions or anybody has thinks that might not be the proper way to handle this.
So, go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Two questions. Are we reimbursing for sales tax now outside of travel? Okay. My only concern is emergency situations where a staff member needs something in an emergency situation and uses his or her own funds. Would we reimburse for sales tax there, or is that?
No, but I would think that those purchases were minimal. I mean, if we're talking about, they needed gasoline or something, or maybe a tire blew out. But, I mean, we would reimburse in an emergency situation for the purchase, but we wouldn't reimburse the sales tax. If I'm correct on that, Mr. Markham. So, I mean, they wouldn't be out everything. But Mr. Markham and I's discussion was that most of what we're talking about are travel situations, and that's covered under the stipends or under the travel per diems at this point, which we felt were adjusted fairly, and the mileage that was adjusted fairly. So we feel like that's built in there. That shouldn't be an issue. And the idea, too, is that we follow the correct accounting procedures and we get a purchase order for any purchases or and really, it's to curb that sort of thing. Well, it was an emergency, quote-unquote emergency, and what they deem as an emergency. And so, I've been in that position myself as the director and say, hey, I'd really need to get this. And, well, do you? Then get a PO. So, I just want to, we understand that sometimes things can happen, but in an emergency, if there was a need for, say, a cell phone, or a tire, or something along those lines.
Somebody calling with an objection?
Yeah. No, if it was an emergency, then we would pay for the expense if it was an emergent expense, but not for the sales tax.
So, Mr. Chair, if I'm understanding you correctly, if a motion is made tonight, it would be to approve this on second reading with removing the optional reimbursement for sales tax that's listed in this policy as it's read right now. Is that correct?
No, no, Mr. McDonald, we wouldn't, if we, the motion would be to approve the amended policy that said we would reimburse for sales tax. We're given the option, and it's been recommended that we don't. So what we would do, one of two things. If there's not a motion to amend the policy, then it dies for lack of second reading. If there is a motion and then there's a second, then we would vote on it. So if there's a motion and a second, then we'll deliberate it. So, does that answer your question?
No.
So currently, this section reimbursement for sales tax does not exist in our policy.
That is correct. It does not exist in current policy.
And TSBA is recommending that we consider it.
They're saying we have the option. I'm not sure if they're taking a position one way or the other where we
Okay.
do it or not. They're saying law allows us the option to do that.
So if we don't want to do that, no action needs to be taken whatsoever.
Then if I ask for a motion and there is none, then it'll fail for lack of a second.
Now you answered my question.
You're welcome.
This time I entertain a motion for adopting amendment to policy 2804, expense reimbursement, to include the option for reimbursement of sales tax on second reading. To have a motion. To have a motion? Okay, hearing none, option fails, lack of second reading. All right, thank you. That's good exercise for us, good board practice. All right, so it brings us down to the next item on our agenda, and that's chairman's comments. Our next school board meeting will be March 19th, 2026, here at the Board of Education. We'll be spotlighting Northfield and our Artist of the Year awards for Northfield. We'll have a work session at 5 o'clock and a regular board meeting at 6. Just a reminder, we are on the agenda for both the county commission and the city mayor and board of aldermen meeting next Tuesday and Thursday, where we're going to be going and sharing with them the results of our school district in the latest state scoring. So,
Mr. Chair, just as clarity, March 19th is the third Thursday night of March, and that's due to spring break being the second week of March. That's why it's pushed out a week, just for the viewing audience.
thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a great Valentine's.